So the last thing that I'm going to show you on the ground right now in this session with Cheyenne is going to be the precursor to your leg yield, okay? What we're going to look for, we're going to get a bend, like what I just showed you, but we're not going to circle. This is also, again, where it's important that you are able to use your whip, you develop that coordination, and that your horse understands what it means. I'm going to ask, and I'm going to show you this from several different angles, okay, because it might be kind of hard to see on a screen what I'm looking for. So I'm going to show you a couple times at a couple different angles, and hopefully you'll be able to get an idea and go out and play with it with your horse as well. What I really like, whichever side I'm on, this is going to be the inside. So the right is the inside. I'm going to have her bend to the right, and I would like her right hind foot to cross over, but it's not the same as disengaging, because I want her to move sideways into a leg yield, so to speak, on the ground. So, whip and rope are in my left hand, right hand holds onto the halter, and I'm going to get a bend, so if you need to use the handle of your whip to get a bend, do so. Then once I have a bend and we're walking straight, I'm going to use this end, and I'm going to give a little flick. I'm going to give a little flick on her hind end when her right hind foot, right when that foot goes to step up, I'm going to give a little flick. Now, I like to teach my horses, this is up to you, I like to teach my horses that when I lift my hand, like when I'm lunging them or we're working on the ground, if I lift this hand, I want you to move away. So that's just a cue that I have personally. Then, when I'm on the lunge line, I can make a bigger circle by lifting my hand or whatever. So you'll see me using that cue. If you want to just stay on the halter, especially if your horse is having a lot of trouble bending, then I would stay on the halter. If your horse is not bent, it's not doing it correctly. Okay, so make sure you can keep the bend first before you try to let go of that halter. So, bend, and flick, and flick, and flick, flick. So you can see I got quite a bit of sideways on that one. That was pretty good. So I'm going to come once more, I'm going to come straight towards you, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing as well. I'm actually going to go on the other side again. And walking. Get a little bit of a bend. And flip. And flip. Good girl. So, you saw that I was holding onto her halter and keeping a bend. Now I'm going to translate that to being a little bit away from her. So like on a lunge line if I wanted to move her over. So I'm going to be a little bit, not as close to her. I'm going to kind of move her around me. And then if I want a leg yield here, I want her to move out, I'm going to lift my hand. And I'm going to give a little tap on her leg. Good girl, good. I'm going to turn around and go to the other side. And same thing again. A little bit away from me, sending her off. Then I'm going to lift this hand and give a tap, and a tap, and a tap. There, here we go. Good girl. Good. Nice job. Took her a couple steps on that side, but she got the idea pretty well, and we got a good amount of sideways on that last one. So again, and you're going to see this on the other horses as well, I'll remind you of your cues. You want to bend, and you want to get your timing down really good. Where right when that inside hind foot, the same side that you're on, when that foot goes to pick up, I've got my whip right here by her, and I'm just going to flick that hind end a little bit. Good girl. You really shouldn't have to use a lot of pressure with that whip. The majority of horses, just a nice little tap is more than enough usually for them. Very rarely do I find horses that you tap them on the leg or on the butt and they're just ignore it completely. They'll usually pretty much move over if you've done this other preliminary work first. So this would be kind of your last thing, at least for this session, what I'm showing you right now. I would really start with softening the halter, releasing the pull pressure, disengage the hindquarters, turn on the haunches, bending, these sorts of things first. Once you have a really good bend and you have your horse where you can ask for disengagement and they cross over right away without any trouble, then you can start to go to your leg yield. And as you get really good at it in hand, like what we just did right now, then you can start to play with it on the lunge line a little bit. Can I lift my hand and put some pressure on my lunge whip and have my horse move off into a bigger circle? So it's just something fun to play with, but it also is kind of a safety thing that you need some way to kind of move your horse off away from you. So that's why I like to use the hand cue. If I lift my hand and put some pressure on you, I like the horse to know, oh, I need to step off. Hand's going to be on his halter, keep it bent. We're going to walk forward. I've got it bent, and now I'm going to add this sideways. Okay? Good boy, good job. So his leg yield was pretty good, but you can see he kind of was hoping maybe he'd get an opportunity to nibble at me or something. So I just kept that stiff arm. No, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to get any closer than arm. All right, again, the right hand on his halter. We're going to walk. And I'm looking for that hind leg to cross over. Good boy. Good. Now that was much better. He had a little bit better bend because he wasn't trying to nibble on me. He was a little bit more focused. So the next one with her right now is the leg yield. And again, she hasn't done this one before in the hands on the ground. I have not done this before. So this will be the first time for her, and you can see in the video how I'm going to approach it. Like I said before, she's a little bit sensitive to the whip, so I probably am not going to touch her. I'm probably just going to kind of get a little flick up when that inside hind leg goes to step. I'll just flick with it a little bit, but I'm not going to touch her. Okay? And if she gets too sensitive about that, then I'll not even do that. I'll just maybe give a little press on my hand on her rib cage. So I'll play with it. And then after I walk forward here. And flip. Good girl. So she immediately started going sideways off of it. We kind of lost our walk momentum, but she went sideways off of it. So right in the beginning, I'm going to reward that try. I'm not going to make a big deal. The first time, it's not going to be perfect. So I put a little pressure on her, and she immediately went sideways. So I'm going to release on that. I'm going to bring her around and ask again. And I use that little half circle there to get a little extra bend. And now I'm going to ask her sideways. Good. Good girl. Good. So you can see with that one, as we worked on it, she kept her walk much better. That was very good, good. And not all of your horses are going to respond quite that quickly. Some of them are going to be a little bit more dull, and so you may have to tap them. Like I said, she's very sensitive to pressure. And so if you do need to tap them, again, as little as possible, but as much as necessary. Now we're going to go to the other side. Now with that one, she did the opposite. When I first flicked the whip up, she tried to run forward out of it. But that's why I had a hold of her halter right here. So when she tried to run forward out of it, I had a hold of her and wasn't going to let her go until she took a step over. So turn her around and try again. We're going to try backwards, so just push her forward. Good. Good. Good, there you go. So we got a couple good steps in there. I'm going to turn her around. A couple good steps in there. She didn't try to run forward. She did try for a moment to go backwards, and I just push her forward, wave my whip, kiss to her corrector, and just focus on that leg yield. Now, for some of your horses, again, don't try to push too much, okay? Go a couple of steps and reward.